Alright, the ads are finished. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's see what I can do here. Alright. So, things I'm doing with Greybor. We are going Fighter, Mutation Warrior. Now, you might be asking yourself why. And it is because his stat line is mostly strength-based. And so heavy armor is going to be better. Unless I go with a lot of weird dips and such. So, gonna go Mutation Warrior. Yeah, I don't actually care about your perception much. I care about your stealth even less, though, so. Okay, so we get a bonus feat here. And that will be Outflank.
Godspeed.
Now I actually have to be mindful for another heavy armor. Because I was not at first. I had a +2 adamantine and I pitched it because I didn't think I was going to be doing that with Greybor. Oops. It's all good, though. What do we have here? Compulsion or Mind Effect? Saving throws against disease and sickened. Pardon me, started sneezing. Oh, apologies. And this will be for Woljif when we get him. Alright, I have items I need to buy.
Let us press on.
Need might be a strong word here. Items I want to buy. Why did I not get to give you mythics? Eh, whatever. Probably fine. We come here to the jewelry trader. What do we have? I want the glass amulet of clarity for Nenio. Enlivening leadership is pretty good. Is there anything else here? The goggles of pure sight. That's what I'm here for. And we want the glass amulet of clarity. +2 to the DC for all saving throws against mind-affecting abilities used by the wielder. Nenio. You get that. I get these. And I will be wearing these for, like, the rest of the game. Yeah, I do have to toggle it. So that is something to note.
March ahead.
Then we come over here to the Arcane Weaver. What do you have? Alright. Gloves of the Ambassador. These are interesting. Alright, we want Gloves of Dueling for Regil. I just don't know if I get them yet. Robe of Order. Whenever the wearer is polymorphed. Tempting to get these for Uldrig. Immunity to fire. Tempting. Alright, we have Pearls of Power here too, which are very nice. And we have Scrolls of Greater Heroism. We're grabbing all of those.
Our path leads on.
I'm gonna see if Arsinoe has any Greater Heroism scrolls. I doubt it, since Cleric, but I need all of the Greater Heroism I can get early on. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's fine, we can restock on Death Ward. Death Ward. Oh, I'm actually running low on those. You didn't restock on those. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I will be mindful of that. It'll be fine for now. And we will grab about 16 Scrolls of Freedom of Movement. Cool. Teleport back inside. And I have a bunch of alcohol to stash. Is there anything else I feel compelled to stash? Ingredients. Hey, Millies, let's talk to you. Commander, you can ask me anything. I like to educate mortals about my homeland, and about devils in general. I have to go, that's fine. You didn't really have anything to say aside from more contract shenanigans. Alright. So here... I don't have a lot I can do yet. There's no point in me really heading out at the moment. I'm going to go rest so that Arushale has her spells. As do all of the camp companions that did not get taken along. What? Didn't I already pick this up? Oh no, this is Sarkoris Lost. Okay. Alright, and I will begin resting. What do we have access to now? Because we got the mulled wine, cooking bonus to skill checks. All armor penalties on skill checks are reduced by 2. Okay, that's not bad. Fresh yogurt. Okay, fresh yogurt's definitely one that we're going to want to be using when we have Nenio in the group.
So many years wasted. So many good people perished. And there's still no end to this war.
Praise the goddess, we'll end it, once and for all.
Alright, let's see here. When do I get my 5th level spells? 13? And then I get 6th level spells at 16. When do I snag selective spell? That's the question. $15. Okay. So 15 is when I get to do selective, zero state, which will be very, very strong. class. What do I get here on the next level of these? Oh, I already have Crusader's Edge and stuff. So what do I get on this one? Break Enchantment, which could be good. Righteous Might will be something, maybe. Probably not. Spell Resistance and True Seeing, 100%. And then Zero States, among other things. And then not a lot here either that's really good. Which is fine. But everybody has rested. All is good here. Let us do more Crusade Management. It is 9:59. I will skip day. A council of officers, seasoned in the art of war, will help the commander to implement new tactics and diversify his army's ranks with more skilled units. The success of military action depends on regular supply of everything troops need and the judicious distribution of resources. The Logistic Council is made up of experienced officers will ensure there is no chaos in the army while the commander's attention is focused on the front line. The Crusade depends on the support of Nerosian and foreign countries. The Diplomatic Council will see to it that no political problems interfere with the regular inflow of gold and recruits to Dresden. Yes. No. Yes. Give me one moment here. I think it'll be 20. Oh, well, here we go. I'll check here in a second. The Aeon's gaze is cold, calm, and distant. It makes sound falter, giving way to absolute silence. Finally, you have the time for introspection and to think through your decision. A chill wind blows all thoughts from your head except the most pressing ones, sharpening your mind like a razor. You are surrounded by disorder. The Crusade is filled with irregularities and faults, embezzlement, incompetence, systemic negligence. The very thought of these failures irritates you like scratches on a pane of glass. The landscape beyond is obscured by the aggregate of ugly scars. It must be fixed. Everything must function as intended. The Aeon's gaze poses a silent question. Where do you start when everything is broken? The corrupt quartermasters, the incompetent frontline officers, the recruiters who allow soldiers to evade the draft for a bribe. As you debate the options, a decision starts to take shape in your mind. Yeah, it all depends on how it's worded. I think the animal companion for Sanctified Slayer is level -3, and then the witch is another -1, and then boon companion is +4. I think. I have to double check that. And then Sohei is also a +1, so. Well, net neutral, rather. Oh no, I picked up the Boon Companion feat at level 7. Cost of building construction reduces by 20%. Recruitment growth for trainable units. All generals gain the reliable trait. 10 extra movement points. The general has +1 bonus to attack and defense, and +3 bonus to power. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm good for 20. So I'm going to go recertification, so that the extra 10 movement is so big. But I'm going to read through this here real quick. Consider what would be most beneficial to the Crusade. There is no obvious answer. Purging the home front of bribe takers and fools would decrease the cost of construction and supplies. Finding draft dodgers would allow you to replenish combat losses with new recruits more efficiently. Dismissing incompetent officers and replacing them with skilled soldiers of lower rank would improve the tactical performance of the Crusade. It is a difficult decision. The decision is made. The Aeon's gaze remains stern and merciless. It promises no leniency to the arrogant fools about to lose their stripes and march under the command of their former subordinates. You are filled with a sense of confidence in yourself and your decision. From now on, everything will be as it should. And now I'm stuck here. Sailkind. Before you stands a tall, fit man whose dark hair is already tinged with gray. He greets you with a brisk military salute. How's it going, Critter? Hope all is well. My name is Captain Sailkind. I command the vanguard of a mercenary group called the Blackstone Company. We've come from Andoran to assist you. If you have a question, I might have an answer. Emphasis on might. Mad Kellid, the Rager in the Church of Dresden. Yes. The guy who, Pounce charged Wendu and almost killed her, if not for a last stand. Check his armor when you beat him. He has a very nasty armor that, throws a dispel on you when you, crit. It's not good for you, because the AC is ass, but it's very good for the enemy, or for an enemy wearing it. I want to know more about your unit. Yeah, that's kind of what happened to me, too. She crit him a couple times, and then he charged her with Pounce. Thank you, Last Stand, for keeping her alive. I did not want to go through, like, all of Dresden without her. The Blackstone Company is proud to be recognized as one of the finest Andoran mercenary regiments. We're not a bunch of unscrupulous sellswords looking to oppress the innocent and serve the tyrants of the world. No, we're adventurers eager to get involved in a dangerous enterprise and leave it with pockets full of gold and a clear conscience. Yeah, if you forget that the Brimeracks are there and you don't have, like, a resist fire and protection from fire, it's, that can be sketch. Which is why we held a vote among our units. We were glad to accept Queen Galfrey's invitation to join the Crusade, though some of our commanders did voice their displeasure with the sum she offered. But, like I said, we Andorans are a free people who cannot be pushed around and who cannot be bought, only convinced. Oh god, that's awful. I'm sorry. Zed layers suck. Yeah, stairs stairs or anything that increases or decreases the Z layer is going to be issues in general, since this is a Unity game. Unity is actually pretty okay with Z layers, but unless the devs are like super meticulous with it, it can pretend that they just don't exist, and then pretend that they are overly existent. Why'd you join up with us? Queen Galfrey paid for our services, but please do not think we're fighting for gold alone. We are true sons and daughters of Andoran, so the ideals of equality and resisting enslavement ring true in our hearts. We will be glad to stand in the way of demons who seek to force mortal kind into bondage. The bulk of our company made camp in Nerosian, but the vanguard, consisting of our finest soldiers, if I may add, was put under your command. I want to know more about you. Get on with your duties. Yes, sir. Glad to be under your command. Captain Sealkind salutes you. Again, smiles and adds in a softer voice, it will be an honor to serve with you, Commander. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need to talk, I'd be happy to lend an ear. Iribith said that we're under threat from demons with unusual abilities, like that Nabasu that attacked your army at the Lost Chapel. They're very powerful, and they're growing in number. You haven't found out where they're coming from, have you? Arushale looks around shyly and continues, lowering her voice as if entrusting you with a personal secret. I'm not sure, but I think I have a lead. I know where to find someone who can lead us to the source of power. Who are you talking about? A hag by the name of Jerunica? She used to live here before the fall of Sarkoris, but when the demons invaded this world, she happily took their side. The old cannibal knows many secrets. You just have to make her talk. Does this, Jerunica also have special powers? Her? I doubt it. But still be careful. She is very old, very sly creature, and she's incredibly dangerous. Where can I find this informer of yours? The place is called Green Gates. I'll show you how to get there. Long ago, before the World Wound, there was a Sarkorian fortress there. Then, Crusaders built a small chapel. But for many, many years, the place has been home to nothing but abomination and squalor. How did you find out about this? Arushale quickly looks at the faces of those present and seems to curl in on herself. Quietly, almost whispering, she says, "That is a long story. I will tell you when we get there. Alright? Thanks for the tip. Happy to help. It's just..." Arushale looks around cautiously again and lowers her voice. "You won't get there without me, will you? I want to personally make sure this monster doesn't escape you." The Next Door Theater. Good day, your commandership. It is we, the artistic board of the Next Door Theater. We are still working on our piece about your heroism. We have even taken on a few new crew members. We now have a master of stage equipment and scenery. It's my granddaughter, Tina. I'm gonna call it Tina. It might be Tina. I'm not sure. Tina, say hello to his commandership. We are faced with another dilemma. We simply can't decide on a climactic moment for the act that's all about the Battle of Dresden. Here, you listen to the options. Grandma Gretlin holds a scroll before her eyes and begins to read. Running a gnarled finger along each line. Option 1, the commander, so that's you, launches himself out of a catapult and smashes down the fortress wall, allowing the armies to rush inside. Option 2, the commander, so that's you again, masquerades as a succubus and creeps into Dresden in disguise. And then opens the gates to the Crusaders. Option 3, the commander, so that's you again, rides to the attack on an enormous mountain goat, or should we call it a battering ram, and breaks down the city gates. We're going option 3. I like the version where I ride on the back of an enormous mountain goat, but where are you going to get a goat that size? We're still working on that part, your commandership. Hard to get a goat in the middle of the World Wound, especially an enormous one, but we'll think of something. Don't you worry. Grandma Gretlin and her entourage move away, but their voices project so well that you can easily hear the rest of the conversation. Do you think the commander will mind if we add the goat and the catapult to the show? That way, the bit where he breaks down the gate the gates will make for much better drama. Did you forget that the role of the commander is being played by a Cyclops? How are we going to launch Lambkin out of a catapult? Where are we going to find a catapult that won't just break under his weight? Calm yourself, Tina. It's just a minor snag. You can't achieve success without a few difficulties along the way. We'll think of something. You'll see. Captain Odin, a tall, gaunt half-elf, salutes you solemnly. Commander, it's an honor to call this first meeting of the Military Council to order. I am Captain Odin, and I've been serving under your command ever since the assault on the Grey Garrison. I will do my best to be of much use to you as possible in this role. The foundation of the military is cold calculation and discipline. These are the principles I will seek to impart to the Crusaders. If we are to win this war, we must forget about mercy, for our enemies, for our troops, and for ourselves. Well, Commander, your sister Sela is no renowned general, but she spent half her life tussling with evil. It looks like I'll be stepping up on behalf of all of Iomede's faithful here. I hope my advice will prove useful. Master, your army needs to change. The Uplanders have already proven that their methods of warfare are lacking, and their fastidiousness leads to unnecessary losses. I'll teach them how to cast aside their morals and destroy the enemy by the most ruthless means available. Demons aren't the first invaders to come to the lands of Sarkoris. I know this country, and I know how people used to fight here in the old days. Listen to me, War Chief, and I'll tell you how to turn the land itself into our ally. The first issue on the Military Council's agenda is the reorganization of troops. Our infantry has been bled dry. The forces Her Majesty granted to us were enough to take Dresden, but we need more troops to hold it. Furthermore, the army was assembled in great haste after the assault on Canabris, and was never adequately equipped. Unfortunately, we don't have much time for redeployment. Our scouts report that a powerful Baelor, Horamzada, is already preparing a retaliatory strike on Dresden. The Baelor, Karamzada, is one of Deskari's most powerful generals, but his personal might is not the only reason he poses such a threat in combat. They call him the World Wound Strategist, for he is the shrewdest general among demonkind. Not too long ago, he oversaw one of the most successful assaults on Canavris, and nearly destroyed the Wardstone, an achievement that only Lord Deskari himself was able to claim in the end. But we can rely on freshly conscripted Mendevian soldiers. They may not have the skill, but our strength, as always, lies in the number and fervor of the volunteers joining the Crusades. We can't throw everyone into the meat grinder. We'll just get our youths killed for nothing. Yeah, I don't care much for the Soviet strategy. Just run them all through the meat grinder. We need to select the best among the recruits, or even better, hold the contest. The bravest and most capable will join the Crusaders. The death count is always highest in the infirmary. Its purpose is to serve as a shield. It would be wise to invest our resources in hiring and training heavy footmen with shields to ensure maximum protection, even if it limits their mobility and makes them less threatening to the enemy. An ominous smile spreads across Wendwog's face. I've noticed that not all Uplanders are equal. While some eat and drink all they like, others sit in stone cells for gongs on end, feeding on refuse. You call those criminals? They have no rights, so why don't we force them to join our ranks and get ourselves a fresh supply of troops? Never enough folk. Same in war as it is in peacetime. We dealt with that problem by finding helpers among the animals. Why can't we do the same now? Strengthen the infantry with war dogs? One soldier with a dog at his side is more like 1.5 fighters, maybe even 2. Let's see. Who is the Baelor Karemzada? The most trusted servant of the Demon Lord Discari. Among the historians of the Mendevian Crusades, he's known as the strategist of the World Wound. He's not as renowned as Minago, the conqueror of Dresden, or Hepsamira, the daughter of Baphomet. But he has claimed the most major victories over the forces of Mendev. He's a general, and quite possibly one of the best tacticians in the entire Abyss. I've been studying his style of warfare for years. He may seem like an ordinary demon, another typical war taskmaster, but that's a fallacy, like a beast following a scent. He senses weaknesses in his enemy's defenses and strikes at them, sending soldiers to bring targeted carnage. His uncanny charisma attracts more and more soldiers to him, so he's never short on troops and sacrifices them like pawns whenever he pleases in order to achieve his victories. Karemzada is the face of the demon host. For many years I've been gathering research on him, preparing for the day our armies would clash with his once more. I hope my council will help you to defeat him, but so far Karemzada has known no defeats. I want to hear the opinions of my advisors. Sela, do we really need only the bravest and most capable in our infantry? I mean, we can't send untrained rookies to the slaughter. We have the right to command only those who are ready for battle. Those who can defeat the enemy. We must find out who has the skill and the guts. Contests are perfect for that, and a little excitement for our warriors couldn't hurt either. We won't get that many winners, but their strength will come from their prowess, not their numbers. Your proposal would leave us with an infantry full of selfish risk-takers, dreaming of glory and valor. That is bad material for a soldier. The infantry's role is to be a shield for the archers and mages. All they're required to do is follow orders and hold the line unto victory or death. Ambitious loners, cherry-picked through contests of skill, are not fit to perform this duty. Regil, why do you insist on shield bearers? The infantry is a meat shield intended to catch the blade of the opposing army in its flesh. The shield must be reliable. That is all that is required of it. That is why I would like to see well-armored shield bearers as our foot soldiers. We must have the option of pitting ranks of footmen against a tide of rampaging demons. Knowing with certainty that it will not scatter or die until they have completed their task. Sorry about that. I keep sneezing. Wenduog, is it wise to rely on scoundrels and criminals? I don't plan to rely on them. I plan to rely on the chain of archers who will follow them and shoot anyone who dares to run. The foot soldiers will have no choice but to fight, and those hardened criminals know how to fight for their lives. It's true they won't charge into battle, shouting your name, master, but their upkeep will cost us a pittance. They'll serve their purpose as a meat shield, and no one will shed any tears over their demise. Since they wronged the tribe, let them atone for their deeds with blood. Besides, other uplanders also have prisons filled with criminals, don't they? We can borrow them. Our neighbors will be only too happy to have fewer mouths to feed. This is like some wicked parody of redemption. Giving them a chance to turn over a new leaf is one thing, but herding them to their deaths with bows trained on their backs, this is not what the Crusade should be. Ulbrich, how will war dogs help our infantry? A loyal hound is more than just a set of sharp fangs, an extra pair of eyes, a keen nose, and another head. In a way, it's no soldier, but it's extra fighting power. Since we can't get any more human warriors from anywhere, we should swell the ranks with four-legged fighters. An excellent idea, Chief Birdbrain. Let's assemble an army of stray mutts, filthy crows, and street rats. I heard lots of the soldiers are complaining of lice and fleas. Let's throw them into the mix, too. Waste not, want not, right? A soldier and all of his fleas is practically a platoon. You just want to gather up some recruits from Mendev? Yes, institute a draft and try to amass as many new soldiers from Mendev and other lands as we can. We've always drawn our strength from our zeal and our determination to oppose evil. What strength? Shit wasn't getting done till I got here. If we start holding contests or selections, they'll turn a holy crusade into a job for the chosen few and scare away future volunteers. If we try changing our tried and true tactics, we'll lose valuable time, and our army is in need of fresh blood right now. The shield those misfit losers are going to form will be flimsy as shit. We'd better support it with the line of crossbowmen at the rear who won't let them take off at the first sign of trouble. Everything's clear to me now. So this would give me champions. If I go with Sela's choice. I could get shield bearers if I went with Regel's choice. I could get convicts if I went with Wendu's choice. I can get Houndmasters if I go with Ulbrig's choice. And I get conscript if I go with Odin's choice. Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely going the Houndmasters. They are by far and away my favorite of this. The other option is champions or shield bearers. Shield bearers are okay-ish, just because they can hold the line decently, and then you can just have your mage blow things up, your general blow things up. But champions are really, really strong for alpha strikes. But I like the Houndmasters a lot more. Training a dog for war is no easy task, but we had a few tricks in Sarkoris. Druids today aren't a patch on the old ones, of course, but they can talk to beasts. That's all we need. I'll train 5 dogs, and they'll quickly supply our army with 4-legged reinforcements. Captain Odin salutes you formally. Thank you for your time, Commander. When the reforms are finished and the ranks of our infantry are replenished, I will assemble the military council to discuss new decisions. Dorgalinda Stranglehold. Hail, Commander. A middle-aged dwarf who has clearly seen some combat salutes you with one barely moving, bone-dry hand. On her face are huge scarred claw marks. A black eye patch covers one eye, but she's watching you with the other, intent and somber. Dorgalinda Stranglehold. Chair of the Logistics Council at your service. We've got ourselves an ugly situation that requires your decision. I hope I won't get in anyone's way if I join you. Arushale looks around with visible worry. I think I could give some good advice here, if you don't mind, of course. I will definitely prove useful to this council. I know more about survival than any of the Uplanders combined. I will teach your soldiers how to procure whatever they need, even in a place as unforgiving as the World Wound. But most importantly, I can tell you how to use what you have wisely. Everything is always in short supply in the caves, so neithers are experts at conserving resources. I won't lie to you. Our logistics are a mess. We need more of everything, and what we do have is in disarray. Crates of provisions are rotting away in storehouses because some idiot quartermaster spilled beer on the papers, and fools are not the worst problem. There's also theft. Some officers grease palms to get a helmet with stylish plumage, or a fancy blade from Nerosian. Meanwhile, that means that ordinary soldiers are being armed with barely more than kitchen knives, hammer and tongs. It's time to give the entire logistics staff the bum's rush. The question is, where do we find capable and honest people to replace them? These scoundrels must be replaced with decent, honorable people, selfless souls who have proven that they put their comrades' lives above all else, especially their own wealth. Surely that's who will take the best care of our soldiers. I had to blow my nose that time. Ugh. I've seen the people who are in charge of gear in our mercenary units. Those are razor-sharp fighters. They're gritty, tight-fisted, and hard-boiled, unlike our dolts. If we convince them to work for us instead, they'll put things in order here, and they might help us to come to an understanding with our other mercenaries if need be. Alright. I'm not actually going to read through this one. Because, this one is more just about the effect it gives. And here I care more about, extra HP than anything else. Keeping our units alive means that the general can sling more spells through the course of the combat, potentially. Wenduog, pick the shrewdest, toughest mercenaries you can find. Good, they'll teach the others to live a hard life. It'll make them stronger. Whenever my hunters had been hungry for a couple of days, they'd hunt their prey with twice as much energy. Then it's decided, no matter what our new quartermasters are like, there's no possible way they can be worse than what we have now. The results will be reported to you, and if anything else comes up, I'll call the council right away. Commander, the matters before us are urgent, so let's not stand on ceremony. I'm Lady Konami, the official attaché of Nerosian. Here are my credentials. Her Majesty has instructed me to lead your headquarters diplomatic council. Honestly, I was surprised when Lady Konami asked me to join this council, but I will do my best to fill the shoes of a trained diplomat. I, like many nobles, have been trained in diplomacy, and, in fact, I hold the title of Royal Emissary. It is passed down the Erendale line. I must say that prior to this day, I employed my diplomatic skills solely to undermine Mendev's international reputation. It is time to break that habit. I imagine preventing international scandals will be just as interesting as causing them. Who knows, I might even enjoy it. What's on the council's agenda today? I hate to say it, Commander, but not everyone in Nerosian is pleased with your progress. Some believe that, to use their words, you are out of control and fancy yourself an independent leader. It wouldn't surprise me if you encountered supply disruptions in the near future. I would suggest quelling their anger. Show the capital you haven't forgotten about the chain of command. For example, you could hold a parade in honor of Her Majesty. If we need to demonstrate that we're keeping Nerosian in mind, why don't we invite the capital's high priest to Dresden for a religious festival? It'll be appropriate, and the church's support will shield us from the accusations of schemers. Pander to the naysayers, I think not. I propose we hold a parade in your honor. This is your victory, and if Cousin Galfrey wants to show off in front of the soldiers, she's welcome to capture something of her own. Do I care about any of these? I do not care about any of these. I will go with Religious Feast then. Sosiel invite the High Priest of Nerusian to the religious festival. Or will I go Royal Parade? It doesn't really matter. I'll go Royal Parade to keep her off my back. I'm glad that you've listened to my proposal. Making friends in the Royal Council will go a long way. It is good that we've got off on the right foot, Commander. There will be plenty more issues requiring your decision soon. But I do not doubt we will handle them just as expediently.
I will guide us.
Alright, now to confirm what was brought up a while ago. It is Druid level -3, so Inquisitor level -3. And then this is a 4th level of no animal companion. And then we have Boon Companion, which is 4 levels higher. So yes, we will be able to get 20. Alright. What do we have here? We have 3 here and an event. We will do all of this after ads. The ads are going to play for 3 minutes. They disable pre-roll and mid-roll ads for the next hour. I don't do anything in the meantime, so nobody misses out on any content. And I will catch you all after the ads. Alright, the ads finished. Let us take care of Crusade stuff. First Blood. One of the officers has been bringing recruits to the prison so that they could fight weakened captives and kill them. He wanted to prepare the newcomers for their first battle, but unfortunately, during one of the training sessions, one of the soldiers got killed and everything came to light. 300 military experience. 750 leadership experience. And right to a pardon. Thank you. Alright, we go approve of this method of training. We are evil. We are going devil. Adds 300 military experience points. Because of these practice battles, soldiers will go into their first battle ready to take someone's life. This experience, paid for with the blood of others, will save the lives of recruits. Work for giants. I will issue this. Material points income increases by 1. The giants that were created by Zaggle Fornt's alchemical potion will be useful for heavy labor on their home front. And I will want this as well at some point. We go to the campaign. Alright, Hound Masters. Heavy laser, what? What about lasers? Labor. Labor. Alright, here I don't need either of these. I legitimately don't know what these are. Bandits. Rogues. Yeah, we don't need these. We increase our reserve. We have marksmen. We will keep our rangers for now, though. Spearmen. Yeah, this'll be fine, probably. Hopefully this doesn't cause losses. Too much watching FTL? Axe throwers. We get rid of ranged units first. And here we summon the hounds. That's right, attack the hounds. They don't actually, Ooh, ow. We want to get rid of these cultists. Ow! Lay on hand self. Alright, we heal. Do some damage there. Lay on hands others. And we heal again. Over here. Lay on hands others. Alright, and now we can clean up. The doggos are sick, or nauseated. This is acceptable losses. All right, there we are. We get extra finance points per day, and we get a lump sum of finance points, both of which are very nice. We come back over here to the campaign map. We try to take out the Vrops. There we are. Rimmeracks are a nice next addition. Yeah, that's whatever. Yes, attack the doggos. They don't give anything to the infirmary size, which is why I like them. Chaotic Evil. So we can smite. I mean, sure, whatever. We were already nauseated back there. Go doggos. Easy fight. We have a level up here. We get Fireball. It is essentially Scorching Ray, but hits 3 squares, or a 3x3 instead of a single area. At only 3 times the cost for 9 times the area. Though most of the time you're still only hitting 3 things with it, but sometimes you can get more. Fireball is just so good here. The Edge of Force. Here, I get to actually use the Fireball immediately. And then we make puppers over here as a distraction. So even though I took that one thing that gave me minus 20 Crusade morale, I'm still getting tons of extra turns. We get the Edge of Force. Alright. We want to head to Green Gates sooner than later. What does my income here look like? 2 energy a day? That's not a lot. Most of this is not a lot. That's fine. We will manage Dresden. Is there anything I want to buy? Build. Hospitals are nice later on, but not needed now. Alright, so I don't need to buy anything here. There are so many people that have issues with morale in the Crusade. Like, enough that I feel like it's something's probably unintuitive that I just didn't find unintuitive, because I've played games like this before. Keeper's Canyon. And we build archery ranges where we can. You have to actually hover over this. Maybe the tutorial tells you, I don't know. But otherwise you have to hover over this. Each victory over a demon army in the lands of Yath, Grey Road, Lake Lost to the Sun, or Winter Sun lands adds 6 days to the time on the banner of victories. Stays green. Each capture of a demon fort in the lands of Yath, etc. adds 30 days to the time the banner of conquest stays green. Reclaiming forts that were previously lost does not affect the banner of conquest. As long as no Crusader fort is under siege, the banner of defense is green. If any fort is under siege, the banner of defense turns yellow for 3 days, then red. As long as at least one Crusader fort is captured by the demons, the banner of defense remains red. How's it going, Kyo? Hope all is well. So essentially, you just need to take a fort every 30 days, minimum, and win a battle at least every 6 days, minimum. And you can keep your morale up. How many material points do I have? 21. And then I need 160. Just gonna buy archery ranges everywhere I can, because the archers are the DPS of the army. I will get more barracks later, but first things first, we want archery ranges. Alright. Things are looking good-ish here. There is an enemy army that is coming from Winter Sun's direction. Had a good time at the cardiologist today. Have to make up a few hours Wednesday, though. Oof. Glad the cardiologist went well, though. Alright, I am going to skip a day. And we have more events. A visitor from the past. Small crevice opened up in the middle of Dresden. Then a tiny, sickly old man climbed out, Coughing heavily, he introduced himself as a spirit of Sarkorian land and thanked the Crusaders for their struggle. He wishes to help the Crusade and is offering the commander a choice. He can either open up the metal deposits that sleep beneath the earth, not far from the fortress, or grow lush forests on top of them where wild game will make its home. Material points income, it increases by 5 for 30 days. Robust feat. I will do Convince the Spirit to help with everything he can. Yes, I'm in Act 3 now. It is an evil choice. I get the Healthy, which is half of the forests, and I get like 2/3 of the material points that I would have gotten from this one, but I get it up front. So Convince the Spirit to help with everything he can. The Spirit explained that he was suffering from a terrible sickness. The Breath of the World wound had poisoned him. He was tired of fighting this blight and thus agreed to spend what little power he had left to aid the Crusaders. With his remaining strength, the old man unsealed the ore deposits in the ground and revived the sparse groves, then vanished. Delighted with the fresh air and praising the Spirit's sacrifice, the Crusaders rushed off to hunt and search for ore. Here we have military council increase, I think. Those who do not seek to know their enemy and fail to forge new paths to victory will inevitably fall. The secret of success lies in officers' steadfast focus on strategy, the ability to learn from past experiences, and the preparation of soldiers for future battles. And here we have Leadership Council. One can command a small unit alone, but to manage an army, one needs a staff council. Surrounded by experienced advisors, the commander will be able to make decisions affecting the life and morale of the entire army. And here we let them flee. Get Bracers of the Heavy Hand. And we will come down here. Let them flee. Defeating the horde of flying monsters swooping from the sky, many Crusaders got thinking that their battle tactics they know are not always suited to demon confrontation. With every little new battle, the army gains invaluable experience, and soldiers are eager to learn, for their lives depend on it. Hopefully this general doesn't do anything. I don't remember. Axe throwers, axe throwers. Kinda want to do this here. And then fire at the axe throwers with my archers. Ow! Okay, yeah, they do something. Yeah, pretty much. No, the doggos. Well, fuck me. We lost some archers here. You know, just 86 of them. Yikes. Oh well. Shit happens. I thought I remembered that fight being rough. But, oops. Guess I should have, just waited. Could be worse. Alright. I think I'm going to take my party and head out this way. See if I can't get Woljif. Maybe.
Godspeed.
What kind of money do I have right now? There is an item that I want. God, that still hurts, though, losing about a third of my archers. But I'm building all those archery ranges. This is a morale bonus to skill checks, which I don't care about. Because we have heroisms. Is it not this dude? It's not this dude. Is it the jewelry person here? Yes, gloves of dueling. Thank you. Regil now has gloves of dueling. And we can leave. I want Nenia with me, but I literally do not know who I'd deposit for her. I think it's Wendu right now. As weird as that feels. I think Wendu gets deposited. Because everybody else had... Like, it's Wendu or Regil, but I told everybody I'd run Regil with me as the demon. Or as the devil. So... Wendu it is. So be it. Okay, we don't actually have any forts with teleportation yet. Yep. It happens. 3 days until that's finished constructing. Yes and no. You only get one of their quest lines, but depending on how you do the quest line, you can have the other begrudgingly join in, like, Act 3 and Act 5, and they'll just be grumpy. I think Wenduog eventually does betray you, and I think Lan might eventually die. I don't remember. But they do join you for a little bit in the middle. We go to the Temple of the Good Hunt. Alright, here... Come up over this way. What do we have here? One command, yeah. These are just these finishing. We have an event. An important inspection. A group of officials from Nerosian is on its way to Dresden. They want to inspect how well the crusade is organized. What kind of welcome should they receive? 4,000 leadership. Finance. Finance points and diplomacy experience. Finance points and military experience. Bring the officials to the front line. Sela escorted the committee to the front lines, where the pampered bureaucrats were forced to learn the hardships of military life firsthand. Having gotten caught up in a surprise attack and personally witnessed the demon's brutality, the inspectors swore to supply the army with everything it may need, and to do so diligently. Okay, we let those flee. And then we take this. Still salty about those archers I lost. I will be for a while. I like how I took out these mounted units, and the Smilodons are still standing. Some things it's better to just not question. Play on hand self. That gets us an extra fort, which I will gladly build an archery range in. I'm gonna have to move off of it first. That's fine. Let them flee. Over here, we build an archery range. Alright. And we will head into the Temple of the Good Hunt.
Let us press on. We march ahead.
Poked out Bunny over here. Alright. Gato. The young cleric of Aristal greets you with a shy smile. What an honor it is to see you again, Commander. Welcome to the Temple of Delamere the Blessed. As the temple's prior, I offer my greetings. At the word prior, the priest's face flushes pink. Remind me, who are you? They call me Kiato, the shepherd boy. Well, that's what they used to call me, but it's not very fitting for a priest, is it? The cleric lapses into confused silence for a few moments. I come from a village near Last Wall. I've always been drawn to Aristal, even as a child. A cleric by the name of Jod once passed through our village, a kind old man. He looked me in the eye, a silly little kid, and he said, I see you're going to serve Aristal just like me. And so I did. When I heard about your crusade, I set out to join it, just like my heart was telling me to do. At first I served as a novice under the venerable Rathamus, but now he's gone and I've been left on my own. Rathamus and I marched on Dresden with your forces. We fought in your host, and then when the demons were driven out, I came here. Rathamus transformed into a ghoul and attacked me at the Lost Chapel. This temple is centuries old. Aristal's worshippers would have come here in their hundreds in the past, but even now we get the odd pilgrim wandering in. That's why I wanted to take over this temple. Someone ought to take care of this sacred place. I want to know more about this temple. Have you seen anything suspicious in the area? The cleric swallows nervously and lowers his gaze. No? Everything's quiet around here? There's nothing going on in this temple, that's for sure. Pilgrims have said there's a dragon flying around this area, snatching up travelers, and others say it's just a rumor. Things are quiet here in my temple. Have you heard about my new powers? They're a true blessing to be able to read the truth of human souls. It is truly incredible. But it must be a burden for you, Commander, seeing only the worst in people. How can that be any better than lying to oneself and looking at everything through rose-tinted glass? You can only be seeing half of the full picture. And isn't it lonely? Standing alone at the summit, looking down on everyone? How can you love someone even as a friend, if you only see wrongdoings everywhere you look? In your shoes, I would probably have refused such a gift if I could. I was lucky that Aristal willed me to become a priest. I can forgive if my heart chooses to, but you? Do you have the right to forgive a guilty person? If you can no longer feel pity or compassion, that is horrific. Need the services of a cleric? I will be glad to help, Commander. I've kept all of Rathamus' scrolls, and I've even managed to learn a few of his tricks. I study languages so that I can read foreign scrolls. Rathamus used to call me a polyglutton. I never met a foreign language I didn't want to sink my teeth into. Alright.
I found something.
The young cleric lets out a scream and addresses you in a quavering voice. I beg you, don't touch that door. I discovered a concealed door in the temple. Where does it lead? Gatto's face goes gray, and he falters and stutters over his words. What door? Ah, the door? It leads into the cellar. There's nothing interesting behind that door. Sweat breaks out on the cleric's forehead as he looks at you with pleading eyes. The door... I see you have violated the laws of this world. It's time to confess. What? No? I follow Aristal, and I've never done anything bad? No, wait, no, I'm sorry. I don't know why you think... Alright. You're a terrible liar. Speak the truth before I lose my temper. Gatto looks to be on the verge of tears. It's all Zenedra. He's a witch. He came here one night, threatened to torture me, and demanded that I let her into the crypt. She said that her friends would be coming here sometimes, and then she placed a curse on me. If I allow anyone other than initiated servants of Baphomet into the crypt without her permission, a brood of rats will appear in my stomach, and they will gnaw me from the inside out. But I want to live. I'm no warrior. I'm a humble shepherd, and I never said a word to anyone. They go in there, and they do things. They whisper. I'm afraid to go in, and you can't go in. There's no one in there now anyway. Zenedra, or Zanedra? Zanedra? Hasn't been here for many days, and Aristal willing, she won't come again. A cursed witch. What do you expect from a peasant? It is in a peasant's nature to obey those who are stronger. I don't know who this Zanedra is, but I'd really like to get my hands on her and have a chat. Or maybe I'd just reach for my weapon right away. It speaks a language all its own. A quick death is too good for cultist scum like her. After all the fear and torment and pain they put people through, stay strong, kid. You're not alone. You have allies and your faith. I have to go. No, that's where my mind went to. It's all good. Going inside the crypt. The cleric's resistance is hanging by a thread. His lips are trembling and his voice drops to a whisper. I have the key. But what right do you have to... As the commander of the Crusade, I order you to give me the key. Gatto guiltily hangs his head like a criminal caught in the act. With a trembling hand, he gives you the key. The final words sound unexpectedly clear and crisp. Don't go in there.
The deed is done.
Belt of Incredible Dexterity 4. I will take that. Dexterity and Constitution. That'll go there.
Oh.
You have lore nature, right? Yes. Not very high, but it is what it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, It depends on how much pain and suffering there is. It will range anywhere from like a 5 to a 9.
Our path leads on. That is quite a discovery. I will not falter.
Okay, we unlock this.
I have managed.
We get the ultimate predator. It is a situational boost, so I do not value it very highly. Situational boost that isn't against demons.
The goddess protects us.
Sosiel. I'm begging you, don't go in there. Sucks to be you, Kyato.
I will guide us.
Burial rites fulfill several functions. They mitigate the psychological strain of parting with the deceased. They neutralize a source of disease causing miasmas, and they suppress the spread of cannibalistic and necrophilic acts in society at large. There are many ways of disposing of a corpse: burning, dissolution, and harsh chemicals, ingestion by all members of the community. But by far, the most popular method is burial. A grave protects the corpse against carrion eaters, serves as a place of remembrance, proclaims the merits of the deceased, and, of a special importance when all safety measures are taken, grave burial prevents the deceased from coming back and visiting their still living relatives. Crit. Yeah. Greybor not doing his due diligence. The commander examines the stone sarcophagus resting in the crypt of the Temple of Aristal. It was used as a feasting table for demons until very recently. Bones are scattered across the stone top of the sarcophagus. Some are easily identifiable as human finger bones. A human eyeball floats unappetizingly in a clay bowl, and next to it lies a half-gnawed ribcage. The commander decides to examine the symbols on the sarcophagus. Zen recognizes some of the symbols used by Kelid priests. According to the symbols in this sarcophagus lies a priestess of Aristal, Delamere the Blessed. On the lid of the sarcophagus, the symbols form a circle. The commander notices that the seemingly solid slab is actually composed of several pieces in this spot. The hairline joins between the fragments are almost impossible to see. In Sarkoris, there existed a funeral tradition in which the priests would place magic seals, such as this, on tombs. The symbols on the seal are threatening. I guard the eternal sleep of Delamere. First be any who dare destroy me. The commander. Did you go into the tavern? And you fully cleared the dungeon and the temple? Those are the only real important things. If you missed anything else, it's not terribly important. Thinks to say a prayer to Aristal. Zen Inquisitor recalls an old Kelid prayer to Aristal. As soon as he utters it, the symbols on the stone seal begin to glow. With a click, the seal crumbles into pieces, and the lid of the sarcophagus slides open. Inside the sarcophagus lie the remains of a female archer. The bones are held together by leather armor covered in the same symbols as those on the sarcophagus, and the skeleton's hands are clutching an impressive bow made from an antler. Surprisingly, there's no unpleasant smell from the remains. Takes the relics from the sarcophagus. As the remains and relics moved to the sarcophagus. I don't remember what all options do here. I know I get the bow if I take the relics. But if I take it to the city, do I still get the bow? Seek and ye shall find. Yeah, it doesn't really tell me anything. If I don't get the bow, I don't get the bow. We're gonna have it moved to Dresden. Relics of Delamere. The body resting in the sarcophagus looks majestic and not at all off-putting. It is easy to imagine how Delamere looked when she was alive, a regal woman with a proud chin, broad shoulders, and the strong arms of an archer. Her appearance would have garnered people's trust, and even after her death, they came here to worship her, and more will come to Dresden now, to pay homage to her in her new resting place. And we will get a fun fight with rats up here.
Is not an option.
R.I.P. Kyoto. You were a fool. Why are you set as camouflage? What the shit is going on with the auto here? I see. Nenio, you can do protective rituals. I will do camouflage. Over here, we can do this, and then... Doesn't really matter here. Yeah, that'll do. There's someone on the road. Get ready. This is the dragon, isn't it? I don't want to fight the dragon. Gross. Fuck. Alright. So, first things are first. We go with a protection from fire, communal. And, yeah. Let's use Inspiring Command. Over here, this is protection from energy, where's resist energy? Fire. Enforcing Gaze. And, yeah, that's gonna be it for this turn. Regil, you just chill. Nenio. We're gonna try. It's not gonna do anything, but we're gonna try. Holy shit. We overcame the spell resistance. And we got the will to, save to fail. We did not get the fortitude save, though. Unfortunate. We use this here. And chant. Before moving a 5-foot step back. Smith.
Do not hold back.
Alright, I just whiff everything there, that's fine.
Retreat is not an option.
This is fine.
I'll cut you wide open.
And it wanders off. If you get the Phantasmal Killer off there, you get like a 5k XP or something. No big deal, though. Alright, ads are about to start. They play for 3 minutes. They disable pre-roll and mid-roll ads for the next hour. You Baba Dragon. I don't do anything in the meantime, so nobody misses any content. And I will be back after the ads. Alright, the ads are finished. And, I think once I leave this zone, I will be resting. There's no reason not to. It gives, Regil his last stand back. I have things to do in the Crusade. What? Nevia wants to talk. Okay. Count Arenday's prank has earned Irabeth's displeasure, and so she's asked the commander for an audience. Plea for a fair trial. Avarice, a warrior of the Crusade, claims that a crime has taken place. She seeks an audience with the commander. And there's still more that I haven't looked at? What? Ah, yes, Relics of Delamere. 12 clerics, 20 rangers. The rangers will be I'll be happy for. The clerics also I'll be happy for. Helps make up for the archers I lost. Okay, here we will rest.
Hey ho, the dairy-o with his chicks aflame and his truce down low. Ugh, I can't get that tune out of my head. Damn tavern songs.
All right. We evade. I can't actually get past that. Hadn't thought that one through. Need to actually clear this out. Let them flee. Material points income increases by 1. Outpost Bastion expansion. Colored Crusaders. A Chalexian lord with an escort of battle slaves wishes to join the crusade, but many crusaders loathe slavery. They're asking the commander to free the thralls and banish the outlander. God, all of these suck. We'll take the battle slaves. Slavery is a part of Chalexian culture, and nothing can change that reality. The Chalexian lord has become a crusader, and his slaves are ready to fight for the greater cause with absolute loyalty. What is the stealth check here? 32? Alright, we want to head here. Oh god, that's gonna take multiple days. I'm going to skip the day here. And over here we have Irabeth wants to talk. In our midst, spies of the Abyss have attempted to infiltrate Dresden to find the commander's plans. It was only by chance that they were stopped. The officers have suggested an increase to security in anticipation of new attempts by the demons. Leadership experience at the cost of military experience. Senior comrades. I will take that. Alright. Here we get to dismiss them. And we will skip day again. Where we then have Dwarven property, part of the fortress. Wall sustained damage and demon attack on Dresden. Number of buried golems covered in Dwarven runes were discovered among the collapsed stones. Upon hearing this news, a member of Dwarven clan has contacted the commander and claimed that the golems belong to them. What should be done with the golems? I will wait until I have Woljif in my group to see all of the options. Right, I don't have any decrees going on right now. I should do Unscrupulous Heir. Orders to Irabeth. And Lost Scouts, can't do that yet. That'll do. Get those going. We let them flee. We get a level up here. I take Arcane Magic, 5 extra bonus power towards fireballs, which will be huge. Alright, let's take this out. I see. Oh, dear God. Lay on hands others. We wait. And we wait again. Lay on hands others. I will heal here. Lay on hands others. Alright, cool. Didn't lose more units permanently. Let them flee. Let them flee. Let them flee. Alright, I need to find Woljif here somewhere. Over here, I need you to move. And I will recruit this and this. And then we get the archers. And then we can get as many of these as we can. There'll be 2 left. That'll be fine. Woljif, where are you? Woljif, what the hell? Alright, Woljif doesn't want to show up, which is really annoying to me. Dresden was built long ago, and compared to modern fortifications, its construction is hopelessly obsolete. The officers wish to rebuild the fortress and are arguing over what should be done first, to reinforce the defenses or to expand the streets to make the quartermaster's job easier and expedite deliveries. Widening the streets, logistics experience, reinforcing the walls is military experience, finance points. We will expand the streets, because logistics is a pain to get. By expanding the streets, Dresden Garrison will make it easier for the quartermasters to do their job. What? I like to click on these annoyingly. Alright. Here, we want these 2. There we go. This will be fine. Over here, we get to take another fort. Hopefully. We create doggos. Yes, attack the doggos. Let them flee. Let them flee. And then we get to pick up all of these. There we are. And I still don't have Woljif. It's fine. I'll just go to Dresden, I suppose. All that effort for nothing, just because Woljif didn't want to show up. Commander, I have some information for you, though what I found out is mostly innocent. It might be a cause for concern. What do you mean? About the well-being of one of your companions? Tell me. Soldiers have been gathering in the graveyard to play cards. We usually turn a blind eye to such things, though it's against regulations. We let them enjoy themselves as long as they don't cause too much trouble. And that's usually the case. But recently, my people have noticed Sosiel among them, and the gambling seems to be having an unhealthy effect on him. As you know, I usually keep my nose out of other people's private affairs. With all these spies and cultists, I have too much on my plate as it is. But this time, it's about someone you trust with your life, so maybe you should do something about it. This isn't an official report, just a tip-off from a friend. Thank you for the information. You're welcome. Darren filled my room with roses. The overwhelming fragrance of roses hits you as soon as you enter the headquarters. Roses occupy every inch of available space, fresh and sweet smelling as if they'd just come into bloom. The scene is capped off by Darren, who stands in the center of the rosarium with a single red rose in his hand and an expression of utter innocence on his face. Ah, Zen, it's so good you dropped by. As you can see, I've been working on a little something, and I'm afraid some of your advisors are less than happy about it. Sure, if by a little something you mean an entire shipment of freshly cut roses teleported here from some southern country. Erebeth shifts from foot to foot, glaring at the flowers, pressing in from all sides. You could have outfitted an entire unit with the money you spent on this. Fortunately, they were my own personal funds, so I spent them as I saw fit. This gloomy citadel needed an injection of beauty. Darren brings his crimson rose to his face and inhales its scent, his eyes never leaving yours. That's none of my business, of course, but I've known you for a long time, Darren. This whole thing looks like another scandalous stunt concocted to rile up the Crusaders. If you want to pay court to the commander, don't do it in our headquarters. Do you have something to say to that, Count? A tragic misunderstanding has occurred. Darren pauses while continuing to cast delighted glances at you over his rose. The thing is, I had no intention whatsoever of courting the commander in the romantic sense of this word. It never even crossed my mind. I do not know what led you to such farcical conclusion. Darren holds the rose with the utmost delicacy, waving it gently from side to side. According to recent research conducted by Absalom scholars, the scent of roses reduces stress and fatigue, refreshes one's thoughts, and stimulates intellectual activity. So, I only had the good of the Crusade in mind when I placed these flowers here. My actions were entirely selfless and sincere. I'm just gonna go with 1. Either way, it's a wonderful gift. You're a treasure? I knew you would understand. What is so scandalous about a practical, innocent, and utterly unassuming gift from a friend? I do believe my work here is done. Till next time. Commander, Avarice bows to you. She's a grim woman with a ragged scar that cuts across her face. She's wearing a black armband in a sign of mourning. Commander, I have a case for you to settle. My sister and I used to fight in the same unit. There was this shady fellow serving with us, Ramley. He was rumored to be a looter. My sister, Sillin, was killed in the battle for Dresden, and a few days later I noticed Ramley had her amulet. I cornered the little weasel, and he said that he and Sillin had been in love, and they exchanged amulets before the fight. It's a lie. He must be brought to trial. I'll help you. We'll make him show his true colors. The woman looks at you gratefully. Thank you, Commander. I'll go to Ramley and make sure he stays put until you come. The rumors say he can usually be found hanging about near Dresden's prison. Commander, I have alarming news. Sir Ciar seems to be ill. He has stepped back almost completely from commanding his people. His ever-bright Crusaders are a large and experienced force. Our strategy relies heavily on them. Please talk to him. It might be time for Sir Ciar to step down and hand over the leadership to a younger, more energetic knight. He's not a young man anymore. It must be a struggle to keep up with his responsibilities. What do you know about Ciar's trouble? Just rumors, Commander. They say it's like his mind is somewhere else all the time. He's anxious, but won't say what happened. Sir Ciar is respected. When people see him acting strangely, it breeds uncertainty in the ranks. I will talk to Ciar. Thank you, Commander. This is a necessary step to maintain our fighting ability. Captain Harmetan, hail, Commander. Before you is an aged, yet fit and sturdy Garundi standing at attention. His dark skin has an earthy tone to it, and crystals sparkle forth from where his hair and eyebrows should be, clearly identifying him as an Oread. Captain Manhattan. Yeah, pretty much. Captain Harmetan, chair of your staff council, by order of Her Majesty, Queen Galfrey, here to deliver a report. I'm on this council too. We'll be racking our brains on how to improve troop morale. I reckon the key is to back up our words with actions. Lead your soldiers by example, and they'll be eager to follow. Drawing on my experience as a paralictor, my advice is to maintain calculated moderation in every regard, be it in incentive or penalty, and be decisive. We have no need for doubts or turmoil. I'm doomed to be your advisor, but do you know what that means? That you are doomed to listen to my advice. To start things off, here's an incredibly novel and deep thought for you. Loyalty, passion, and morale. All of these things can be bought with money. Commander, permission to report. We've encountered a problem. Although we're still getting volunteers, we're now seeing cases of desertion. Many who joined the Dresden campaign believe that their duty has been fulfilled with the victory, and they are not keen on staying in the garrison. Those from Canavris wish to return home and rebuild their ruined city. Lastly, there are those who are afraid of lingering in a place where demons might show up with retaliatory expedition at any moment. My suggestion is to improve living conditions for the privates, raise their pay, give them extra rations, and reward those who have distinguished themselves on the battlefield with commendations and gifts. Soldiers don't want to leave armies that appreciate them. I feel for those folks, but we have to convince them to stay. I think we might get some help from the servants of the gods. They'll tell us, the soldiers, that the danger has not yet passed, and inspire them to keep up the fight against evil. As long as the wound is open, the whole world is in danger. We can't just go home and live like we used to, no matter how badly we want that to happen. Most of the Crusaders are volunteers, but they have no right to subvert military discipline. That kind of attitude is tantamount to treason, regardless of who expresses it. We have to identify the instigators, arrest them, and administer harsh punishment to make an example of them. This problem is quite simply solved with coin. By handing money out to privates is practically throwing it away. We need to pay the officers handsomely, then they'll figure out how to raise their subordinates' morale. Glory to the heroes. Repeatable every 30 days for 5 to 10 morale. Repeatable every 14 days. Crusade morale increases by 16 to 25. But we lose trainable units by 10%. And the cost of recruiting mercenaries increases as well. That's whatever. Bribes for the officers, 30 days for 15 to 20. At the cost of money. 10 to 15. And costs material. We will do Regals. It costs nothing. It's 14 days, and it gives 16 to 25. We will never be using this unless somehow our morale plummets. Find the instigators and make an example of them. Affirmative. I already have my eye on the most spirited ones. I will apprehend them immediately. Thank you, Commander. Should any other difficulties arise that require your attention, I'll deliver a new report promptly. Captain Odin. Captain Odin salutes you and looks over the military council intently. Our intelligence was correct. Kormzadeh's host marches on Dresden. In his position, the wisest course of action, upon reaching the walls, would be to lay siege and wear down our forces with nuisance raids. However, my experience tells me he will act differently. This is going to be a full-on assault, a decisive display of his power. When the enemy moves in on our position, we must meet them with a hail of arrows from the walls, gaining the full advantage of our superior defensive position. To prepare our army for this battle, I propose to pass a reform and increase the presence of ranged troops in our ranks. I believe light-armed slingers, a great number of whom can be trained quickly, will be adequate for our purposes. Slingers won't do shit. And once the demons get to them, every one of those slingers will be slaughtered. I say we only recruit experienced, seasoned rangers who have traveled far and wide and know how to defend themselves in any situation. Captain Odin is correct to assume that our ranged troops can manage with light armaments. However, the troops themselves must be of exemplary quality. To complete the task at hand, I suggest we pick the most adept archers we have and have them undergo rigorous training until they become true marksmen. I know where we can get good sentient prey hunters. I've heard there are a lot of wild lands around where uplanders live even worse and poorer than neithers. They rob others for a living and are called bandits. Let's contact them with a promise of mercy and a generous reward, master. In every forest where animals are found, there are hunters plying their trade. These folk don't need to be taught how to shoot. They rely on their keen eye and steady hand every day to put food on the table for their families. Put a call out for hunters, pay them what they're worth, and let them kill cultists and oglins for us instead of rabbits and deer. I want to hear the opinion of my advisors. Why Rangers, Sela? We can't bolster our ranks with hunters and shepherds who can shoot an arrow but don't know anything about melee combat, or is not shooting partridges out of the sky. The demons could easily break through our ranks and attack our archers. And what happens then? A massacre that will leave us digging graves for a bunch of boys and girls? Rangers, on the other hand, spend their whole lives traveling, and they know what it's like to rely on no one but themselves. They're battle-hardened, and they can wield both a bow and a blade to fend off a dangerous foe if need be. In worrying about the lives of individual soldiers, we must not put their safety above expediency. The price of defeat will be the loss of the entire army, not just a few soldiers. Tell me more about the snipers. We take 100 archers and work them to the bone. In time, we will discover a dozen with real talent. They must be able to remain completely focused on their combat objective, taking out one opponent after another. And the infantry's duty is to shield such valuable assets from any attacks, with their bodies if necessary. Wenduag, are you seriously suggesting we hire bandits? Wenduag's voice sounds a little abashed. Well, how are they any worse than other uplanders? They're good hunters, because the bad ones, as I understand, are hanged or thrown in prison. They're vicious, decisive, well accustomed to obeying their leader, and not afraid of crossing someone who's stronger. And the circumstances of their fights have taught them to strike first and without warning, dominating the enemy with a storm of arrows. These are great fighters, are they not? Captain Odin mutters through his teeth. Bandits standing side by side with valiant knights. What has become of our glorious traditions? Ulbrig, how will hunters help us? City folk always have to go divvying everything up. One person knows how to hunt grouse, another knows how to pluck it, a third knows how to cook it. That's not how we do things in a village. In a village, every person is a hunter, a plowman, and, if needs must, a warrior. These are experienced people, tough, hardened by life itself, and they know that if they don't stop this invasion, their homeland could become part of the world wound too. Most of these hunters will never see their homes again, so what if they know how to handle a bow? They're still civilians. It's our duty to protect them, not send them off to the slaughter. Can slingers compare to the experienced archers? Of course not. A sling is not an accurate weapon, but it's cheap and easy to learn. Slingers' training is inexpensive and brief. Any commoner can pick up the basics, and will be able to bring a large number of ranged troops onto the battlefield. Their numbers will compensate for their lack of skill. Untrained, practically unarmed peasants in the rear, a perfect target. We're going to go with the snipers. Of these options here, rangers are okay. They're kind of middle ground. Not amazing, but not awful. Snipers are very squishy, but they are insanely high damage. And I use the archers as my main source of DPS outside of my general. The bandits are meh. The axe hunters are decent. They're not amazing. They're about the same as the rangers. So I'm going to go with snipers. And the slings are just absolutely awful. I generally recommend against choosing slings, like, in all cases. Regil nods silently. I hope these measures will be enough to repel Karamzada's onslaught, and if not, those who come to take our place will learn from our mistakes and fare better. Campaign. How many marksmen do we have? 66? Ah, yes, a demon army is coming. And I can increase reserves. We come over here to manage this. We want to build an archery range. And then we come over here to manage this. Where we want to build, you guessed it, an archery range. Everything has an archery range. Cool. It is midnight right now, so let us go and find Sosiel playing cards. Not the gates. The barracks. It is up here in the graveyard. Where is the graveyard? Graveyard's over here. The soldier stares at his cards in the dim light of a candle stub. Deal me 2 more. I'll double down. Deal me another one. What? Another one? Are you bluffing, you little shit? Wait until we lay down our cards and you'll see if I'm bluffing. You don't immediately recognize Sosiel's voice in battle. He is quiet and composed, but now you can hear furious, passionate excitement in his words. Fine, you scumbag. I call. Deal me another as well. Excitement, passion, and tension seem to hang over the improvised table. Feels like lightning is about to strike. The game of Uno is getting out of hand. Agreed. How's it going, Compelled? Football as well. What's going on here? The commander's here. The jig's up. Let's bail. The candle stub is snuffed out. The cards are scattered into the mud. After a moment, only the embarrassed Sosiel remains. Well, they all ran off. His voice no longer holds that hint of excitement. Not like we were doing anything wrong. Everyone was mostly sober. I made sure they behaved themselves. I was worried you got yourself into trouble. Thank you. I'm touched, really, but I'm perfectly fine. I was just making sure no one else got into trouble. I know you'd never lie to me, so I think you must be lying to yourself. You didn't come here to minister to the soldiers. Why else would I come here then? Win a copper or 2? You think this is an appropriate place for a cleric to be spending his time? Where? Amidst soldiers, resting between battles, where I can monitor how they're coping with everything they've seen and done? Yes, I think it's very appropriate for a cleric. You said it yourself. The soldiers come here to unwind. Don't you need that too? Me? Sosiel blinks in confusion as if the thought hadn't crossed his mind, and he bows his head. You're right. I'm sorry. My behavior was unworthy of a cleric of Shellen. I've been lying to myself, engaging in vices, and passing off my selfishness as concern for my brothers in arms. It is unforgivable. Don't be foolish, you're mortal, just like the rest of us, not some all-powerful deity of mercy. You need time to relax, just like the rest of us. Please be honest with yourself. After a long silence, Sosiel nods. Thank you. It's all jumbled up in my mind. This war and the horrors it holds, our soldiers and what they tell me in their confessions, my own responsibilities, lines from Holy Scripture. In the midst of all this, it's easy to forget I have my own needs and desires. Thank you for reminding me. The cleric picks up a dirty, playing card and twirls it in his fingers. I will not come here again. Please don't forbid these games. Things here are mostly civil. I swear aside from the rare heated argument. I'll be honest, I'll miss playing cards. That excitement when you have almost no chance of winning and the risk is high, even though the stakes aren't life or death, just a handful of coppers. But I'll try to find a less destructive outlet. Perhaps I'll speak to Iribeth and ask her to play chess with me. I wonder what will come of it. Sosiel smiles. Thank you for helping me clear my mind. Good night.
Let us press on.
Trying to get through Baldur's Gate 1 for the first time? Hell yeah. My first playthrough of that was blind. I went solo and on the hardest difficulty. There were lots of reloads. It was on stream way back in the day. I got rid of the VODs though because One, Twitch limited VODs to 100 hours, and two, I was on a very shitty laptop. The quality of the stream was no good. Not good at all. And I do not care to have that on stream. It's been so long, though, that I could go through it again and try that exact same strategy again and see if things play out differently. What do you do when it looks like everything's going to hell in a handbasket and prayers aren't helping? I take myself off somewhere, quiet, and just hack and slash with my sword until I can't stand anymore. I know the feeling. When I need to clear my thoughts, it's not a sword I reach for, but a brush. I know, right? Belg, a Kelid in a well-worn travel robe with a deep hood offers you a respectful bow. His voice is quiet and emotionless. Greetings, Commander. To be granted an audience with a figure of such importance is great honor. Your victories have impressed and inspired me, which is why I wish to do my part in the Crusaders' struggle. Who are you? The visitor's quiet words sound like the rustling of pages, dry and impersonal. My name is Velg, and I am a Kelid. My lineage dates back to the Sarkorian clans, and bonds of kinship have always been sacred to my family. When the world wound opened, my ancestors fled Sarkoris, but they did not forget their homeland. Even before the Crusades began, my great-grandfather marched in defense of our people. He perished as that they all did. You want a Metal Gear Solid 4 mano-y-mano fight between Saravak and Dirge on top of... I appreciate that image. My great-grandfather and his eldest sons joined the First Crusade. My grandfather joined the Second. Our family's warriors have fought in every crusade, and that is why our bloodline is now extinct. They say this crusade will be the last, and so I've come, alone, for there is no one else. Alas, I'm no warrior, but I still wish to be of use to you. How do you plan to help me? His words, devoid of color and emotion, run together to form a monotonous, endless stream. For 23 years, I have been gathering documents on Sarkoris. They contain numerous mentions of the history of Blackwater clan. The clan was beset by demons, as its members had dedicated themselves to creating a powerful weapon against the world wound. The clan needed more time, but no support came from their neighbors, and so the Blackwaters were destroyed. But the fate of the clan is not important right now. What is important is that thanks to certain ancient maps, I have been able to pinpoint the location of their settlement. If you go there, you'll be able to verify my findings, and if you happen to find a weapon that will help you fight the demons, it will bring me satisfaction and pride. My life will have purpose. The strange feeling of wrongness finally coalesces into a verdict. The man is lying to you. His magic may have hidden the luminescence of his aura, but only for a time. What kind of weapon was the Blackwater clan working on? My thoughts on this matter are pure speculation. Perhaps it was a blade that could cut down even a demon lord, or an artifact that could call upon an endless host of spirits, or a circlet that could reverse the flow of time, or erase the planar invaders from reality. The Blackwater clan operated in secrecy to protect their work from spies. Unfortunately, an ever-present concern, and to avoid drawing the demon's attention before the time was right. I'll put this information to good use. It pleases me to be of use to you. Gather your band, Warchief. We're going to the ruins of Current Glen. Why do we need to go to the ruins? Remember that white wolf we saw in the ruins? Every night I see her in my dreams, standing next to the Stone of Voices. Wait, let me finish. Ulbrich holds up a finger, apparently expecting you to interrupt him. I know you can't trust dreams, that's what I always say. But I'm also no stranger to spirits and their workings. I know the difference between a dream that's sent from above and one that sent from my belly after a hearty meal. By the Griffin's wing, I swear that wolf is a friend, one of the guardians of old Sarkoris, just like my Erevar, I guess. And if she's calling me to the stone, then we must go to the stone. Very well, we'll go to the ruins. I don't rightly know what we'll find there, but we'll have to start with the Stone of Voices. It was silent last time, but this time it'll be a different story. I can feel it in my gut. Darren is in high spirits. He's practically vibrating with energy, and a smile flashes across his face now and again. So, Zen, how goes your commandeering? Is our crusade more heroic today than it was yesterday? What's made you so happy? Dresden, and the amazing unparalleled opportunity it has opened for me. The opportunity to take a bath. Military camps and journeys to the abyss have their charm, I'll give them that, but the price I must pay for it is so high that returning to the Stone Labyrinth, masquerading as a city, seems like the sweetest gift. Our crusade? You weren't exactly thrilled to join the Crusaders. Of course I wasn't thrilled. But in unfavorable circumstances, a man cannot allow himself to wallow in gloom and despondency. What a man can do is look on the bright side of the whole situation and change his circumstances as much as possible. Trying out the Enhanced Edition new class, Blackguard. Nice. I was a triple class. I think it was a fighter mage rogue. But because I was solo, it went decently. For instance, I'm certain I'd be able to throw a rip-roaring party even in the crater of an erupting volcano with my hands tied behind my back. So what brings you to me? Oh, it's just a trifling thing. I wish to make a donation to the Crusade cause. It seemed a smart decision to me, because what's good for the Crusade is now tightly intertwined with what's good for yours truly. I did have to give the revenue from my estates a good shake-up, send a few couriers scurrying about, and commission several orders with master craftsmen, but it seems to have worked out rather well. Please take them. A Ring of the Procrastinator, Wand of Cure Critical Wounds, and 2 Scrolls of Resurrection. Thank you, these will come in handy. Excellent, I was happy to contribute. Good day to you, Commander. By the way, take a closer look at my gifts. You may find something special in there. Darren's gift. An exquisite pendant-shaped key. If I go back to his estate, I can use it to open a loot box, essentially. Alright. Now, this afternoon stream is just going to be a short one. I just wanted to play a little bit more today, get some of the more droll, nitty-gritty stuff out of the way. A lot of the early Crusade stuff. So, thank you all for stopping by. Very much appreciated. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit that follow button. And I will be back tomorrow morning with a full-length stream doing Act 3 stuff. Take care.